is the Doublet Special Master.
Live and direct.
Breakfast with CubCamTV.
Trickstar Radio.
What's happening, people? Welcome back to Breakfast with Kovu here on the big bad Trickstar Radio. This is it's the time for the interview hour. It's time for the midweek wind-up. It's time for a lot of things. First of all, we're going to be getting into a fantastic conversation, which I am excited to get into. We're going to be talking to one of the most exciting up-and-coming DJs coming out of Sheffield right about now. We're on the phone with Luce. How are you doing?
I'm alright, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. It's great to get you on the line. We've had a little bit of few issues with Zoom, which seems to be a sort of going thing these days, getting the call set up and ready to go. But it's very good to actually get you on the line for a conversation. So obviously, you're going to be taking us through on the guest mix section today. Before we get into that, I'd love to find out a bit about your sort of music background and sort of what you've been up to. So do you want to talk me through a bit of your sort of journey so far, like as a DJ and just a general music head more than anything else?
So back in 2019, September kind of time, I went to my first kind of raves, and I think it was Darksea. There was a K9 rave, and like while I was there, I was just looking at them and I was like, that's what I want to do. Like I had no idea what I wanted to do when I was older. Like, and you're kind of expected to know. Like I feel like school puts a lot of pressure on you to know. And I hadn't been in the city before. Like I just moved to Leeds, and like there were raves all of the time, and it literally, like I just fell in love with it. And I was like, I don't even like want to, like obviously I enjoyed raving, but like every rave I went to, I was like, I want to be the other side of the decks. Like, so that kind of inspired me. But with uni, like I didn't have a lot of time, and I actually didn't really enjoy uni. So when lockdown like came, I dropped out, and over lockdown, that's when I started like kind of focusing on kind of the music side of things. So got myself some DDJ 400s, the best decks to learn on, and just started practicing. Really started with drum and bass, and then started mixing some UK bass house, and I enjoy both as much as as much as each other. So yeah.
Awesome. It's a very sort of inspiring journey, obviously kind of doing it through lockdown. Did you actually find more than anything else that having that spare time and obviously being away from uni, did you find that kind of drove you on to kind of push further and even and practice harder to an extent?
Oh yeah, like definitely. I feel like it gave me a lot of time to just practice and practice. I was not good to begin with at all. And because I was practicing like 3 hours a day, like I just progressed so quickly. And I feel really thankful that I had that time. And it's really come in my favour, just taking a step back from uni and just doing what I loved. I am actually back at uni now.
Okay.
Because I decided to go back and move to Sheffield because I feel like this is the best place for my future in bass, really.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like looking at obviously the sort of raves you were going to that kind of inspired you to get involved to begin with. You spoke about Darksea, you spoke about K9. Obviously, when you look at the sort of genres that surround them, Sheffield definitely seems to be one of the sort of hubs right now, especially especially sort of in the north of London sort of side of things, for sort of electronic music and bass music in the UK. How have you found since moving there in regards to sort of going to events and things like that? Is there a lot more popping?
Yeah, so down the road from me, obviously there's Tank, and we'll go to Tank like usually like every week, and they have someone different on, and it's always someone that I really enjoy watching. And it just makes me so inspired because they obviously get all like the big names, and it's like maybe one day if I keep working hard, I can be like one of them that play the big shows around the UK.
I mean, obviously with the sort of all the practice you've put in and stuff, how have you found sort of coming up out of lockdown? I'm assuming you've been kind of looking towards playing more shows out live and more sort of performances. How has that side of things kind of been at your end?
Honestly, absolutely crazy. Like, I'm so grateful and thankful for the amount of bookings I've actually had coming out of lockdown, just straight fresh into the scene. Like I've played a show every week for 5 weeks in a row now.
Wow.
And I'm just so thankful for it, really, and I absolutely love it. Like I don't take any shows for granted. Like I just appreciate them. Kind of if it's like a warm-up set, I'll always like prepare my set for the person I'm supporting, and I enjoy it so much because it gives me the opportunity to like play something different each time, and it's exciting. Like I'll never really plan my sets, I just put like different music into a playlist for the show and see like what the crowd are feeling, and it just flows so well when you've got something prepared.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean entirely, and it's always kind of the thing I've noticed that's been quite interesting, especially down here. Obviously, since lockdown, it seems like people have more energy in the raves because obviously they've been away for so long. It feels like there's this kind of need for people to kind of get up and jump around a little bit more. Are you finding it's the same up where you are?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people were obviously like 16 when we went into lockdown, so they're eager to go out and they don't really understand sometimes how to like act at a rave or act at a club. And it's just like interesting. Like I've seen in some clubs people have literally been doing mosh pits, and I'm like, that's not what you do, but hopefully
you'll learn eventually, realistically, if you're mosh pitting in tank. Obviously, like playing the shows that you've been playing since you've come out, then are there any that sort of stand out as sort of moments where you've gone, wow, I'm actually on this journey now?
So I got asked to play the O2 Institute in, I think it was July, supporting Subsonic, SAS, and Looney. And honestly, it was the best day of my life. Like it was crazy. I was just up there and I was like, I can't actually believe this is happening right now. I enjoyed every second of it. And I actually went outside after in the smoking area, and people like come up to me and they were saying that I've inspired them to learn how to mix. So I like gave them my contact and I was like, you can just message me, like I'm more than willing to help people. So it was really like nice, people coming up to me and actually like talking to me after. It's a really nice feeling. And I also played the Made Festival after party and handed over to Hybrid Minds, and I've loved Hybrid Minds ever since I can remember. So it's absolutely crazy supporting them and like handing over to them. And just so thankful for it all.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds great, especially the sort of it seems like you're playing like quite a higher caliber of shows, like quite quickly. It seems like obviously in moving to Sheffield now, have you noticed that kind of changing in the amount of shows you're playing? Because obviously, as I said earlier, it's such a hub for sort of electronic music around the kind of area. Like, are you finding more shows are just becoming available where you are?
So yeah, I have been asked. I have played quite a few venues already, but it's more in Sheffield and then around Sheffield. But I feel like because I mix bass and D&B, like I'm an option for two kind of shows.
Of course.
So people will book me for one or the other, and it's really exciting going to one show one night playing bass house, next show D&B. Like I really enjoy it. I feel like currently, I don't know a lot of Sheffield promoters, but I'm hoping like eventually playing more shows, because I have some unannounced, like other people kind of find you off that.
Yeah, of course.
So, yeah.
There's definitely a level of kind of getting onto a circuit, especially when you're sort of talking locally, and then that tends to elevate quite quickly into a more UK-wide thing, which is sick to see. It's always cool as well to hear, I find, about when you do something and then you find out you're inspiring other people by doing it. Like, how did that make you feel when someone came up to you after finishing playing and being like, you've inspired me?
It's just like the best feeling ever. And that's really my goal, to inspire people, because there aren't many girls in music. Obviously there's a lot more now coming out of lockdown, but especially like the bass scene rather than D&B. There's quite a few more in D&B now, but not many in bass. So like I'm always more than willing to like help people learn how to mix, just because that's just what I want to do. I want to inspire people.
Awesome.
So
it's the great thing is you can kind of see the enthusiasm, you can hear the good energy behind what you're saying, but it's great to hear. It's inspiring me more than it's inspiring me as well. And obviously off the back of this, we do have a very special treat from you coming up over the course of the next 30 minutes or so, which I'm really excited for. You are in this week's midweek wind up guest mix section, which I'm really, really excited to hear. What can we expect from this guest mix? What sort of sounds are we going to be getting from you?
So it's mainly Liquid and Roller. 7.5 morning, didn't want to full send it too much. so didn't go too heavy too early. It's kind of chilled D&B that will get you ready for the day.
Fantastic. What more could you ask for on a Wednesday morning? I tell you what, it's been great having you on the line, Luce. Thanks for jumping on the show. Where can people find you and obviously get in contact in regards to sort of playing and just check out everything you're doing in general?
So it's literally Luce on everything, luce.uk on the Instagram, and then there's just my link tree, which has a link to everything else on it.
Fantastic.
So you can find me there.
Awesome. Well, I hope to chat to you again soon, and I hope to see you keep popping up on those big bookings that we're hearing about, and obviously continuing to inspire people as well. It's been great to chat to you again. Thanks for coming on the show, and we'll chat soon. Okay.
Thank you for having me.
Each and every time. Right then, people, it's time for us to jump into the midweek wind-up. We're going to be getting into that guest mix in just a few minutes. We are live on Trickstar Radio. This is Breakfast with KXVU. Keep it locked and don't go anywhere.
This is Breakfast with KXVU, bringing you their morning flavours on Trickstar Radio.
Trickstar Radio.